Hi everyone, welcome to Fundamentals of Oral Communication. In other words, your probably most dreaded class, public speaking. Here to 12 to 12:50, Monday, Wednesday, Friday here in Dana Hall on 27. You just watched the video where I introduced myself in general, but I am Dr. Chris Majeski again, and you are here for public speaking, and for that I am sorry for many of you, because I know whether you want to admit it or not, public speaking is a class that many students just out and out fear. The good news is you don't need to out and out fear it, and we will do many presentations and we will take many steps along the way in order to ensure that we can get rid of that fear. I've taught this class, the last time I tried to count, I've taught it to over 2,000 students before, so online, offline, a variety of different methods. And at the end of the day, what really matters is two things. That's all you got to do. Two things: preparation and practice. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Preparation, heavily. Practice, that's what will get you to the speech. But it's a matter of preparation. We'll talk a lot. I'll give you a lot of examples of both my personal experiences in this class. You should be happy you're taking it 12. When I took it when I was an undergrad, it's my very first class ever. Took it at 7:40 in the morning. Very first class. It was awful. So you go. Not quite as awful for you, at least. Unfortunately, as you can tell, I'm still in the hospital. In fact, you just missed. They just unhooked me. I had a blood transfusion just a second ago, but I got a nice little IV type things dangling out of my arms. So I'm not out of the woods yet, but I'm working on it. If things don't pick up by Friday, though, the activity that I have for you on Friday, you can do. We'll talk about that in just a second, but we'll be able to do that in preparation for actually your first presentation. So we'll get you right into it, get you jumping right into public speaking because that's the best way to go about doing it. But some important things to note. First and foremost, you'll want the Art of Public Speaking, Stephen Lucas, 11th edition, right there, 11th edition. I will stress to you one thing, that you'll see this as hopefully lucky, but I'm also the CA 111 coordinator, which means any and all questions about curriculum and things like that with the Fundamentals of Oral Communication course go through me. So that's positive because I sort of have most of the answers. And bad, though, because I'm also the one that sets the rules. So for you, you do absolutely need the book, and I will stress to you that if you choose to buy a different edition of the book, it's 100% up to you to try to find any sort of correlation between the two. I'm not going to make any effort at all to convert the 10th edition to the 11th for you. It's not to scare you. I know that stinks, but it's what we have to do. The publisher needs us to move on to the 11th edition. All the supplemental materials are dealing with the 11th edition. The quizzes deal with the 11th edition. So at the end of the day, it really just benefits you to make certain you get the 11th edition. The other positive side is, God forbid for some reason you want to sell this book back. If you buy the 10th edition, you're going to get squat for it. If you buy the 11th edition, you might actually get some money back if you choose to do it. So make certain you have the textbook. As I said before, this semester we're really going to be focusing on those two big things, preparation and presentation. So in the past, the CA 111 course has been taught slightly differently here at Defiance College, and we're going to refocus it on a more traditional, not traditional actually less traditional, but we're going to focus on the preparation part of using outlines, and that is a key, absolute key to successful presentations. I will stress to you now that the students that put the time and the effort into the outlines for the presentations, almost always, I shouldn't say always, I can't think of a single instance where I saw bad set outlines in a good speech. The outlines are key to getting an A in the course, and so we'll want to focus on that, and we'll want to make certain we put the effort into doing that as well. Professor Dries will be going over the rest of the syllabus for you. One of the things I did want to note is on Friday, whether I'm there or not, we're going to be spending some time in class where you're guys going to essentially have a bit of bit of a free-for-all where you try to figure out who you're interested in, pick somebody else in the class, and you'll be interviewing with them in order to try to get enough information out of them to talk about one idea from them. So, you'll interview Sally or Billy or whoever. Sally and Billy, those are very weird names. I don't know where I came with them. So you interview Sally or Billy and focus on one aspect of their lives. So, they may tell you 1,000 different things. They've worked on the school newspaper in high school. They like horseback riding. Their favorite drink is Dr. Pepper, whatever it may be. But you want to focus on one thing you can go into enough depth about, because that's the other thing we'll learn about good public speaking is it's focused. That's part of preparation, it's focused. So we'll do that we'll take the time, all 50 minutes on Friday. You'll take that time to interview the other person. Should there be an odd number at the end, then there'll be one group of three that just sort of, A interviews B, B interviews C, C interviews A, and then they do the presentations that way. But you're in college, you're smart. We'll figure that out relatively easily, I'm sure. If not, I'll be a little bit disappointed. So make certain you take a look at the assignment description for speech number 1 that is in the syllabus. Essentially goes over what I talked about. The other thing I talk about there is I do note that the speech should contain a proper introduction and conclusion as discussed in class. So just in case, I'll do it again in the video on Friday. But remember, a proper introduction and conclusion brings us into it somehow and leaves us out of it. So maybe you ask a question, maybe you give some sort of interesting fact, whatever it may be. You say, this is Billy. He likes Dr. Pepper. By the way, Dr. Pepper's speech is not going to be interesting. And so we'll talk this semester about finding the interesting topic out of what you're focusing on. I'll give you plenty of anecdotes of proper ways of being audience-centered, which is another major focus. I'll tell you all about how I bored my public speaking class to death with a speech of James Bond, and I'll tell you all about how my wife failed her persuasive speech because she stood up for what she believed in. So we'll have a lot of fun talking about some anecdotes. Trust me, I won't fail you for standing up for what you believe in like she was failed. But that's okay, because they're good stories to talk about why certain choices we make with public speaking are important. Try to have some fun as well and make it not quite so awful. And with that, I guess I'll leave it to Professor Dries to go over the rest of the syllabus. Again, I hope to be out of the hospital soon, but if not, I look forward to meeting you as soon as I can. We'll continue in a variety of different ways in the meantime, so look for lots of messages from me. And I hope that I've sort of calmed some of your fears about public speaking. I'm not an expert by any means in terms of being a perfect speaker, but I am pretty good at making people good at speaking. So we'll make certain that you get through the semester. As I always stress to all my students, it's tough to get an A and it's hard to fail this class. So as long as you do all the work, you should easily pass the class. If you work really, really hard, you can get an A. But it's only when you don't work and don't do the work that it becomes really easy to fail the class. But it actually takes more work to fail the class than it does to pass it. So hopefully that's some good news for all of you, and I will be meeting you shortly. In the meantime, thank you, Professor Dries, for going over the rest of the syllabus, and you all have a nice Wednesday. I'll see you later. Bye.